Hello, my lovely people. How are you? It's so good to see you here, or to be here at least. I can't see you, but you know what I mean. It feels like ages since I've done a live, and tonight I'm flying solo. I haven't done that for such a long time. It's a bit like, but you know me. I can fill a time by endless amount of talking. So that's not going to be a problem. And I'm really pleased that you are here along with me. I'm going to show you some of the things I got for Christmas. I'm going to talk about what happened over Christmas, some exciting things. And then I'm going to have a look at my card of the year. So that's the plan for this evening. So let's say hello to some lovely people who are already in. And Orshi, my lovely, it's so nice to see you here. The cats are around. Basil is misbehaving, so anything could happen in the next hour or so. You know, he has got this knack now, jumping up and licking the microphone. So you know, it could happen. So I'll just have to take him down. Hi, my lovely Mookite Jen. It's so lovely to see you here. I hope you are very, very well, and I hope everyone's had a wonderful holiday, seasonal holiday. Yeah, it's gone quick, hasn't it? I think, at least it feels like for me. But yeah, I suppose that means we've enjoyed it, doesn't it? So, Lynn, hello to you. Finally made a live. You are so welcome. I'm so pleased that you are here. Thank you so much for joining us. Hello, Ren. Welcome to Longman Tarot. Orshi saying hi to everyone there. It's lovely to see you here. And before I forget, Orshi and I are over on Elaine's channel. That's Tarot Tats and Tea. I think that's what it's called nowadays, or Tea Tarot Tats, whatever it's called. We're on there tomorrow with Sarah and Gerald and Elaine, obviously, and we're talking about spreads for 2023. So we're sharing some ideas for that one there. If anyone wants to put a link into that, you're more than welcome to into the chat. Hello, Jackie. Good evening from Ireland. I hope you're very well. I hope it's drier over there than it's been here, because it's been really wet and miserable the last few days. Gina, happy pre New Year's. Yeah, is it New Year's Eve today? I'm completely confused by what day of the week is. I only today realised it's Friday and that I needed to book a live and do a live in here. So apologies for the late posting of this one. It's nice to see people are here. Jonathan, my lovely, hope you are very well and had a great Christmas. Yeah, there's Basil. He's had a new treat. He's had the cat sticks. And we gave him to him about 5 minutes ago. They both turned their noses up at it, but they have managed to disappear. Don't quite know what happened to these treat sticks. So there we go. Hello, Brian. Lovely to see you. And I did get your email. Thank you very much. I will be responding to it to you very soon. I hope you're very well. Ren is watching from my phone whilst drinking coffee and eating popcorn. What a wonderful way of doing it. Thank you. And also, group hug everyone. She can't mention everyone. You can't tag everyone. Oh, there you go. Or she has put the link into Elaine's channel. That's at 5 o'clock Greenwich Mean Time. So whatever that is, American time, 12 o'clock midday, I think it is Eastern time. Thank you very much. So lovely, lovely. Hello, Debbie, my lovely. Good to see you here. I hope you are very well. And anyone else that's watching, you're very welcome. It is lovely to see you all here. So what have we all been up to? I've had quite a relaxing... Let's say I had quite a relaxing Christmas. It was relaxing. It wasn't as relaxing as perhaps I had anticipated it to be. I always imagine Christmas to be kind of with a blanket, drinking lots of hot chocolate and nice coffee, eating popcorn, that kind of thing. And it invariably involves rushing from place to visit people and doing all sorts of things. So today, actually, we have taken a few leisurely hours and I've just been doing bits and pieces. So that's been what's happening over Christmas here. But something so exciting happened just before Christmas. And many of you probably know, you might have seen it on my Facebook and my video. I managed to make it to Stonehenge for the sunrise after the winter solstice, and that was incredible. I have to say, it's probably been one of the biggest highlights of the year. I went to stay with my friend overnight, and we drove down to Salisbury Plain, Stonehenge at 4 o'clock in the morning. It was really cold and damp, and joined loads of people. There was probably about 2,000 people there, slowly making their way through the dark to the stone circle. And of course, we could go in. It's one of the times of the year where English Heritage, who look after Stonehenge, allow you to go in, and we were all sort of near the stones and touching the stones and getting healing from the stones. And it was amazing because there was just rituals going on and people doing oracles and singing bowls and chanting, and there was some great singing that went on as well. It was just really nice, and it was just nice for 2 hours or so just to be with lots of people who were just having a wonderful, wonderful time. There were people that took their shoes and socks off, which I think is remarkably brave to be in the UK in the middle of winter, to be walking around barefoot. But I didn't do that one, but I was a little bit jealous. But no, my comfort was more important to me on that one. But it was a really lovely experience, and there is a video I put out there of just a short sort of excerpts of the kind of situation I was having. Sadly, it wasn't a sunrise where you could see. It was grey, and as it is most of the winter in the UK. So we didn't actually see the sun rising, but it just got lighter and lighter and lighter. And it was just absolutely fantastic. So, yeah, so that was one of the massive highlights. Debbie said, had an amazing Christmas. Hope everyone else did. Yeah, absolutely. Got some amazing stuff. It really was amazing. Absolutely. Yeah, the video's up, and yeah, thanks, Brian. Yeah, you've had to look at the video. It was an experience, and I didn't tell anyone about it. Even the night before, I was on Kelly's channel with Gerald, and we were talking about Yule. Actually, on my channel, talking about Yule. And I just wasn't sure whether we were going to make it, or that we were going to be up in time, or do you know what I mean? There was too many things that could have gone wrong. So I was really, really lucky, really chuffed to spend some time there. Something I will really relish. And it was really strange. I went with my lovely friend Pip, and we said afterwards, it's a little bit like we felt reset. It's a bit like, well, coming up the next few days when New Year comes in, and it's like, it's a new year, and you kind of get a new energy, and there's like a freshness about it. It really felt like that. It was almost like, we'd almost forgotten about Christmas. We were ready to go set foot into the new year. So it was absolutely exhilarating. If anyone ever gets the chance to do it, I would really recommend it. And the winter solstice is apparently nicer in many ways because there aren't so many people around. Obviously, the summer solstice is packed out. There's loads more people, but very few less people go to the winter solstice. Having said that, as I said, there were 2,000 people, so still a lot of people there. It absolutely was, Jackie. It was amazing. Debbie said we actually went out for Chinese on Christmas Day. I think it was the first time I've ever done that. And you won $450. What a brilliant end to the year. Fantastic. Congratulations on that one. Thank you, Lynn. Thank you very much. I just put it together because I just wanted people to kind of experience it that wasn't around for it. Incoming cat, I can see. You're going to sit there. Okay, so that was it. And then Christmas came and went. I got some lovely presents, and I will share those with you in a second. But let me know if you have any questions, or you want to just let us know what you got for Christmas. I know some people are a bit funny about sort of these gifts and videos like this, and I just thought, well, let's just talk about what we got, because you might see some books or something you think that's nice, we'll have a look at that, but we're not here to plug it. It's just I wanted to show you what I got. So before we go any further, I've started a journal. This is something that I have been meaning to do for probably 3 years. I am absolutely dreadful at journal. Now, when I say journal, I'm not one of these people that's going to write up like a diary every night. It's a notebook to keep all my fishes all together for the year. But I have started that, and I'm really quite pleased with how it's gone, and it's really given me the ability to focus on stuff, which is really good. So I've got things like each page, I've just set it up for sort of to go throughout the year. So I've got things like the Wheel of the Year in there. I've got, it's just a cheap notebook, so it's really nothing special. I've got my tree dates because this year I'm going to be doing a lot of work with trees and the Druid and Celtic tree calendar and the different parts. So rather than doing like a spread for each month the year for 2023, like I normally do with a tarot reading for myself, I'm going to work with the different tree energies throughout the year. So I've got them all written down, and that's how I'm going to do. And I think what I'm going to do is do them as it comes round, rather than try and do them all in January and sort of plan out that. I'd much rather get a feeling of what's happening in the next season rather than what's happening in 8 or 9 seasons time. So that's my plan. So that's again why I've decided to keep this book together. I started Omen Days, the 12 Omen Days, which is something I came across on Hearthwitch's videos, her channel, which is amazing if you haven't come across that. Omen Days are the 12 days of Christmas, so from Christmas Day to the 6th of January. And you go out and you observe stuff that's going on, or you get a theme for what the weather's like, or use your intuition for that day. And that kind of sets the tone of what that month is going to be. So the first day, which is Christmas Day, is January. 26th, Boxing Day is February. And so today we're on the day 6. So I've done the June end. So I'm just really interested to see how that ties together, if there's anything in it at all. It's a little bit late if you haven't started it yet, but there's no reason why you couldn't pick it up halfway through. But that's my 12 Omen Days and the reflections that go with it. Word of the Year. I can't let you know what that is just yet, because that's a video that's coming out soon. Actually, with Gerald next Monday, talking about our word of the year. But I have got a blank page for the card of the year, which is what we're going to be talking about in a minute. Goals for 2023. Habits. You see, I haven't started any good habits, but I want to make a note and a list of nice habits. And then we get into the different Sabbats. So I've got them all listed there. And then Yule. So I'm just writing lots of stuff about thoughts and ideas, tarot spreads for Yule, which I did a reading for. Birch. So birch is the first tree of the year. So that's there, and there's a little bit of bark that I took off a birch tree as I walked past. There's a birch tarot spread reading there, which I've done. So you can see how it all begins to fit together. So that's how I'm planning to take this book forward and kind of keep everything together for the year. So I'm really pleased, because I'm normally hideously bad at doing stuff like this. So it's really nice to kind of sit and think, right, I'm going to spend some time just writing stuff down or researching something and going forward with that one there. So, yeah. Hello, Calla. Hello, Lizzie, my lovely. Hope you're very well. Glad to see you here. Jackie, you said it's the same. Can't get into journaling, but I'd like to. I was gifted a Moonology one for my birthday for 2023, so I must use it. Yeah, if you're anything like me, the moment I'm gifted a beautiful book to write in, that's my problem. I can't write in it. I don't want to ruin it. I know what my writing's like, and I'm a person that's, I'm quite neat, but I also like to stick things in and cut things up and color things in. And I sometimes feel when you get a fantastically new book, it's just a frightening experience. But it is for 20, so you must use it. Absolutely must use it there. So that's good. I'm so organized. Yeah, I kind of have to be, because if I don't do it now, Jen, it would never happen. It would never happen. But it also has allowed me to kind of plan a little bit forward and think, sorry, I've got a really itchy nose. Think about what I'm doing. So I'm going to be wassailing with my family. That's the plan later on this month, which is a Sussex tradition of going round and blessing the orchards and waking up the trees out of their sleep, ready to start their spring, summer growth and production there. And apparently it really works. It provides really good apples for really good cider crops. And so I've started preparing my wassail ritual and ideas behind it. And so I'm quite excited to be dragging my family into that one there. So That's the plan. Yeah. Oh, that's interesting. All my chat has gone blank. There we go. It's come back. Sorry. I had your names up there and then it all disappeared. So that's good. Yeah, OCD like me. Yeah, very much like that one there. Debbie says, I was like that at Art Journal Pro tip start on the second page. That, Debbie, is absolutely the point. I never quite know how many pages to start in and how many pages to subdivide something up into, for fear that I'm going to have a glut 1 month or one season and not have enough space. And then that would just be a hideous thing to be doing. So absolutely, really, and that's why I'm doing this as I go, rather than thinking, well, I'm going to divide this up into 12 parts or something. I'm just going to do it as I go. So yeah, and then I've got my tarot spread for 2023 for the new year there. So I'm just going to work through the book rather than, as I say, divide it up. In the back, I have got some areas for just things like if I see nice tarot decks I want to get to record that, or the books that I come across that I'd like to add. And that is pretty much all I'm doing. I think if I set myself up any more than that, it's not going to work. So I'm going to keep it simple, and actually not be afraid of making mistakes or cross things out. Or I have learned that if I'm drawing a tarot spread, to actually do it in pencil, then go over in ink and stuff like that. And the other thing that's, you have to be really careful. If anyone's doing this, give it a tip. Make sure if you're using felt tip, it doesn't bleed through onto the page behind, because that's what's happened with those ones. I've got some really nice Sharpie bits of colouring in there, and it all bled through. But that's fine. That's what it's for, isn't it? There. So there you go. Hi, Anne. Season's greetings. Very happy New Year to you. I hope you have a wonderful 2023. It's lovely to see you here. Jen says, I haven't even put the public holidays into my work diary yet. That's fine, Jen. You do it when you're ready. Absolutely. Not a problem. Yeah, and Jonathan's got a good question. Aren't they preloaded, Jen? So aren't they already written in or put in? I don't know. So, They always add extra ones in anyway. We've got an extra bank holiday coming in May because of King Charles' coronation, and I think probably calendars will printed before that one there. So yeah, Happy New Year to you. Never bothered if I'm gifted an extra. I like that one. Spelling is. Why are we? We're this time of the year, aren't we? So. But yeah, I mean, it's never too late to start journaling. That's one of the reasons I really like the Wheel of the Year, because I just feel a massive pressure coming up to New Year. Like, you've got to get a whole load of New Year intentions and resolutions made, and then we set ourselves up for almost a fail before we've even started the new year. So I always think of setting intentions with each turn of the Sabbath, each Wheel of the Year, so that you can refresh the ones that you've already worked on. If any haven't worked, you can go back, review them and think, well, why hasn't it worked? Do I carry on with it, or do I leave it out, or do I rethink it, or what's going on? So actually, I have 8 points during the year where I set myself intentions. And I feel for me that works better, because then it's something and quite often sort of February, March time, I'll be like, oh, I should have put that down as a New Year's resolution. Oh, well, I'll do it next year and then forget it. So I just keep setting myself up during the year, and I find that works a lot better there. So, yeah. Hi, Ellie. Lovely to see you here. I hope you had a wonderful Christmas. And Kathy, hello to you. Towards your moon best. Don't worry. Don't apologize for being late. You are very welcome here. Anne says, maybe we can meet up in 2023. We are only just a short distance away. You know, Anne, that would be absolutely lovely. I would really like that. So let's try and do it in the new year. That would be fantastic. Yeah. I'm just seeing what Jen said there. The one I use tells me every holiday from every state plus New Zealand. Okay. So yeah, so it's got the whole world's calendars in there. Yeah. Yeah, in the UK, we have one where quite often Scottish bank holidays are different to the English ones. And I often misread them. Oh, we're great. We've got another bank holiday. And then only to find out it's not. You have to be in Scotland for that one. My things to journal is I always end up scribbling phone numbers and grocery lists and things in. But that's the point, is it? If that's how you want to use your journal, that's fantastic, Lizzie. That's what, think about that. Or get yourself 2 journals, one for the everyday scribbles and one for perhaps more organized, I don't know how you want to call it, more organized notes. Yeah. Oh, Nancy's here. Hi, Nancy. Oh, you're very welcome, everyone. Yeah, I love that. Thank you for the YouTube connections through 20. It has been a fantastic year in many ways. It's also been a bit of a bitch in many other ways for me personally, but we've got through it, and that's the important thing. So it's been a lot of exciting things happen, and some mind-changing, mind-provoking, life-changing, not mind-changing, life-changing things, which has kind of kick-started me, which is really good. So that's cool there. Hi, Gerald. You're listening while driving. Will you drive carefully, my friend? And actually, I was going to say, anyone that has had all that dreadful weather in the last week or so in the North America and wherever else it's gone there, I hope everyone's safe and well, and you've survived it, and hopefully it's on the melt, I would say. So, yeah, so I hope you're all okay. I missed out the tea. So don't you worry about that. Don't you worry about that at all, Anne. That's very nice. And yeah, it'd be lovely to meet up with you. Come over to Brighton and see you and have a coffee and a drink and a catch up. That'd be fantastic. Hi, Lisa. Good to see you here. And hello, Sandra, my lovely. I hope you had a good Christmas and you're all ready for the new year. I have extras and they all end up the same way scribbled. I'm just a scribbler, I guess. Brilliant. Absolutely. As long as your scribbles, you go back. It's a way of, someone told me this, when you scribble stuff, it's your conscious brain sort of pulling stuff. A bit like, what's his name? Dumbledore, and his thing is bold. Sometimes it's a bit like that. Do you know what I mean by that? Dumbledore moment, pulling all the stuff. That's what scribbling does. And it's often a really good way of just getting it out. So you haven't got to worry about it there. So that's cool. Absolutely careful on the road there, Gerald. Hello, Maharat. Lovely to see you here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Yeah, just call the scribbles art. I've done with it. Absolutely. Yeah, it is a form of art. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with scribble. I'm a doodler, actually. That's my thing. When I'm sitting in a meeting or having to listen, I doodle all over the place. And if anyone ever tried to interpret my doodles, it might be quite a worrying thing that's going on there. Hi, Simon. Hello, welcome. I hope you had a good Christmas there. Good to see you here. And anyone else that's entering there? Ponsive, isn't it? That's right, Ponsive. Yeah. I hope everyone's really well. Lovely to see so many people here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So that's my journaling. That's what I'm keeping up. I got this little decoration of a Christmas thing, and I really liked it. So I do like to have a ribbon in my book, I have to be honest. So this is just a really cheap journal. In fact, it says Head Gardener. You can just tell what it is. So go and get yourself a journal and go and stick lots of things in and get creative with felt tip pens. That's my recommendation there. So there we go. So that's the start of the new year. I like to give myself a run into it. Do you know what I mean? Otherwise, it would never start. It would never. Yeah. And Chris is here. Hello, my lovely Chris. I hope you're well and you had a good Christmas. It's great to see you. So I think we've talked about Stonehenge. We've talked about the solstice. I'm going to have a little drink while we move on to the next part. I've done a lot of talking today. I've been putting together, editing lots of videos for my Summer Lenormand deck video guidebook thing. And Gerald very kindly joined me. We did an hour and a half of recording stuff about it all. So I've been editing that together today. So I spent a lot of time in front of this computer, but I'm really pleased with the results. So yeah. And says, hi, Simon. Love listening to your 2023 deck and journaling plans. Yes, I know you were just talking about it. I should go back and have a little look at that one. I'd be interested to see how your journaling plans are there, Simon. And it's quite nice to know other people are journaling, because I was saying earlier, it's the first time I've kind of done this. I tend to write random stuff down on bits of paper and then constantly lose them. So I'm really excited to see how it goes. Um, oh, thank you, Nancy. Your Lenormand's such a great achievement. It was one of the big achievements of 2022. I would never have thought I'd get around to it. But yeah. I'm really proud of it. So Jen says it just occurred to me at New Year's Eve. Yes, of course, you're ahead, aren't you? You're in tomorrow in Best Cracking with my organising. yeah. Jen, are you one of these people that kind of take your decoration? Actually, I'm talking to the wrong person here, Jen, because I know you put your Christmas decorations up in September, don't you? So you probably leave them up past New Year and we're into January. So yeah, it's I have to say I can't wait to take these down once we hit January and yeah. Anne says all these fun videos have interrupted my Netflix watching of Lady Chatterley's Lover. Well. I am going to be watching that at some point. There's been a lot on TV and stuff at the moment, so yeah. I'm looking forward to catching up on that one. As long as it's not too rude. Right, okay, so time to show off some books. This is what I got during Christmas. And it will save me doing kind of another video about this. So I thought I would be here. And if you've got any questions you want to ask about these books or ISBN numbers or prices, let me know. And I can make a note of it. So what's that? I don't know when my keyboard keeps doing that with all the ends. I was doing it when I was working. So, you probably need a new keyboard, Chris. Probably got a sticky key there, haven't you? So that's probably what happened there. So, and Jen says, no, actually, when I decorate, really, it's down by Boxing Day, so it's all gone by now. Wow, fantastic. I don't blame you. I would as well, but it took so long to put all this up. We're going to keep it up for a little bit longer. So yeah. Okay, so while we're here, Sandra's here. I had a lovely gift from Sandra. This year was the first time I put an Amazon list together. I'd never realised I could do it. And I did, because people always asking me, "Oh, what do you want?" And I said, "Well, there's always some books I want." And I thought, actually, let's put the books onto an Amazon list, and then if people, family or whatever said, "What do you want?" It's there. So I've never actually used an Amazon list until this Christmas. I was a little bit not quite sure. But Sandra, bless you, Sandra, went in, and you were the first person to actually go and bought me a wonderful book. And it's this one. It's The Witch's Path, Advancing Your Craft at Every Level by Thorn Mooney. Now, I have to be honest, I haven't dipped into this yet because it has been so busy over Christmas. But this looks absolutely amazing. I haven't got that many books on this kind of thing. I don't want to get a lot of books on these because I could just fill all my bookshelves up with books like this. But I wanted a couple that I would know that I would read. And I think I might have seen this in a shop. And I got a feeling, Sandra, I might have seen it in not Atlantis. What's the other one? In London. Anyway, and I think that's where I got the idea of it from. And I'm just very, very thankful that you got this for me. And I'm really, really pleased with it. And thank you very much. Let me just read you the back of it. The Witch's Path is all about raising your witchcraft practice to the next level. I don't actually have a witchcraft practice, can I just say at this point, but it interests me. So that's why I've got it there. Whether you're a beginner who feels overwhelmed, a delusional adept, hopefully, a jaded coven leader, or anyone in between. There you go. I think that probably sums up most of the people that I know. Yeah, and it's just really, it's kind of there. Just it's a lot of writing. It's not much pictures at all. Just very small little mini chapters, just on sort of refreshing, getting to know the basics. And some really interesting things like this whole chapters on sacred spaces, setting apart the sacred. I'm just really interested in reading this and trying to find out a bit more, because for me, lots of people I know, particularly through YouTube, have a path that they follow. And I want to know more about these kind of paths so that I can join in conversations and I can ask questions and I can feel like I'm a little bit more on not on top of it, but I feel like a bit more of a part of it all. But otherwise, I sit there going, I'm not quite sure what all this is about. I've also met, as you know, the lovely Leah, who was on my channel a few weeks ago from our local shop, the Witchcraft Shop. And she's lovely. And again, talking to her about it's given me ideas that I need to just do some more reading and a bit more understanding there. So I'm really pleased to go that. And I'm looking forward to reading that when the time's right, which is not right now because I've still got so many books to go through. So you are very, very kind. It was Atlantis. Yeah, it was Atlantis. Thank you. Oh, I can tell what my mind's up to. I thought it was Watkins, but it wasn't. It's Atlantis. It does look a cool book. Yeah, you're right, Simon. I'll let you know. I don't know if anyone else has got this or has any thoughts on it. I think it's quite new. Let's see what the publishing date is. I've also realised I've got to get my eyes tested again because I can't read the small print. 2021. So it is a new book there on that one there. So that's The Witch's Path. Thorn Mooney. Absolutely. Yeah, Kathy, it was really, really kind. And I'm very, very thankful. So thank you. Debbie says, my kids are awesome. They get me everything I put on my list. They'll be wanting a new one for my birthday. Well, now that I've got an an Amazon list, I know how it all works now. So I'm just going to keep putting stuff on there. And then we won't keep getting all these questions. What do you want for your birthday and stuff like that? And so, yeah. Jackie says, I must check it out. Are we talking about Lady Chatterley still? Yeah, I think so. It's adaptation of the classic D.H. Lowell, Lady Chatterley, played by the actress, plays Diana in The Crown. Yes, I can't think of her name. I'm very much looking forward to it because there's nothing. I do like a bit of Lady Chatterley, the kind of, I mean, it was really scandalous at the time, wasn't it? So there we go. Nancy said, if I became a witch, will people stop calling me a bitch? I don't know about that one. Try it and find out. That's probably the best way. Chris is talking about Star Wars, I think. I like The Rise of Skywalker. I'm in the middle of Star Wars Rebels, although I dislike the animation. I haven't seen the animation one of that one. I do like a good Star Wars film. I haven't really watched many films this year. I tend to go back and watch all the ones I've seen 1,000 times before. I started watching Agatha Christie Death on the Nile this afternoon and Ben-Hur this morning for 4.5 hours. I mean, no wonder I didn't get anything done. Anyway, next thing up was another wonderful book, which I've never seen before. This is The Crystal Source, but this is bought by my wonderful friend, Pip, who some of you have met before, and she's been on several videos, who I went to Stonehenge with. And she has done incredibly well, because as you know, I do like my rocks. And I do have quite a lot of books about them. And it is in my experience, and stop me if you think I'm making it, there are some very good books on crystals and some ones that are not quite so good. And why I like this one is that it's got some brilliant, firstly, coloured photographs, because quite often you'll buy a stone, you'll forget what it is, and when you go to look it up, it won't look like anything in any pictures you ever see in any book. So I really like the way that this has also been organised by colour of stone rather than alphabetical by name or country or whatever it comes in there. So it goes right the way through the rainbow. We've got our greens there. Beautiful photographs. So those books that really sits in your hand nicely. It's got a really nice kind of slightly rubbery cover. And then it goes into the blues. And then, of course, my favorite section, the purple, the violet, and the mixed color ones. So, of course, we're going into labradorite territory. And there are some stuff in here that I have not seen before. And I really like that it's all just split up into appearance, the rarity, how it's formed, the attributes, the healing action, stones to use with the combinations, and also how to look after them and the care involved in it all. And that's really interesting because a lot of these stones, it talks about the mole, as in how water resistant they are and how you should clean them. And a lot of people just throw stones into water and spring water, but there's a lot of stones that don't work like that. But also, this is talking about being really careful if it's got other chemicals, if you don't want to be handling it for too long, if it's got some certain like leads or stuff in there. And also, it's very much, if you're making jewelry out of it, be careful that you wear a mask if you're going to be using abrasive stuff around them, and don't breathe it in, which is something most books I've come across don't even mention when it comes to crystals. So I really just like the simplicity of it, but also it feels very up to date. And then, which really excited me, is there's a whole chapter just on crystal grids for health and how to set them up, which is, again, something that I know very little about and something that really interests me. And again, it's really lovely diagrams, really simple. I've just been flicking through this and instantly drawn into it. So I'm really looking forward just to work with this. They've even got templates for grids that you can work with there. So this is just a perfect book for me, as I have got quite a few books on crystals. I've also got quite a few crystals. But it's perfect because it's tying it all together what I wanted. So that is fantastic. I'm just catching up with your lovely chat. Poirot. You've got to love a Poirot, haven't you? Yeah, the witchy bitch, the bitchy witch. Say how you want to there. Hi, V. Kestrel. Lovely to see you here. Welcome. I hope you had a good Christmas there. I started to watch Death and Now, but it was no Margaret Rutherford. Have you seen the latest one? Is that the one we're talking about? The latest Kenneth Branagh Death on the Nile? Because that's not as good as the Peter Ustinov one. But anyway, that's my personal thought. Oh, thank you. The room looks. Thank you very much. Very kind of you there. I do love a good Margaret Rutherford as well. Yeah, you can't beat that. I'm still mesmerized by your Christmas lights. Yes. Look into the lights. Look into the lights. They're just easy to put on Agatha Christie films and have them on in the background. I'm the same. I do like a David Suchet and the old black and white ones there. Oh, yeah. Sometimes I can't get on with Kenneth Branagh playing Poirot either. Really different take on it all there. So, yeah. Yeah, he's got a really different approach to playing Poirot. It's interesting. I don't mind them. I like what I like about the big classic films like that is the scenery. So, they filmed it they actually went to Egypt with the Peter Ustinov and the all-star cast, and, and you can tell that they're going, whereas the latest Kenneth Branagh, most of it's filmed in a studio. It doesn't quite have that ultimate epicness, I always think, that these things need. So, yeah. Oh, catalyst, I enjoy getting lost in books, new books, absolutely. Yeah. Watch them every week, the Poirot. And the Orient Express, awful. Yeah, it wasn't as good. The older ones were better. Yeah. David Suchet was an excellent Poirot. I want to see Alan Cummings, but I don't know why. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, it'd be a really interesting take on it. I do like Alan Cummings. I went and saw a production of Murder on the Orient Express at the theatre in Chichester this year, and it was amazing. It was absolutely, the set was just fantastic. You would think, how could they do Murder on the Orient Express on a stage? And they did a fantastic job on it. It was brilliant, and yeah. Daniel Craig played the sleuth over Christmas. Not sure that. Yeah, The Glass Onion. I enjoyed the film, but I was really tired by the end of it and just wanted it over and done with. He has got a very peculiar accent in that. Yeah, absolutely. But it was very entertaining as a good film. Yeah. And he would have to wear a fat suit. Yeah. It's amazing how we've all got in our head what these kind of classic characters are, particularly Poirot. We've all got our favourite Poirot, a bit like we've all got our own favourite Doctor Who, I suppose, isn't it? Yeah. Okay, some more books. So this is one that I was gifted by my sister. I live in East Sussex, in the county of East Sussex, and they found this wonderful book, Haunted Theatres of East Sussex. Perfect for me. As you know, I come from a theatre background. I've worked in a lot of the theatres in the area anyway. So I'm really looking forward to sitting down and reading the stories there. I've also seen one of the ghosts in one of the local theatres. I don't think I'm included in this book, but I'm interested to see what other people's accounts are. So that's a really well-found book there. Well done, my sister, for it. Next up was another book that I found in Atlantis and went on my Amazon wish list, and this is Earth Magic, Elements of Witchcraft. Now, why I bought this, why this book went on my list, is I started thumbing through it about 3 weeks ago in Atlantis Books. I thought this looks really interesting. It's one of the Llewellyn books, and I quite like the Llewellyn Sabbath books. I quite often drag those ones out when we're doing a live about the Wheels of the Year. And I didn't realise that they'd made a series, obviously, on the 4 elements. So this is Earth. This is the only one I've got at the moment. It's got a really lovely rubbery cover. It's really tactile. I like books like that. Yeah, so dig into the history, lore, and practice of earth magic. And it just, again, drew me in when I was in the bookshop, just learning about it. And it's, again, something I just really want to get into. And I'm particularly interested in earth magic and grounding and stones. And, you know, as you can probably tell by the rest of the stuff I've got. So I thought that was a really interesting book to have a look at. So that was that one there. 10 is back, so I'm happy. Oh, Glass Onion. Oh, okay, we're talking Glass. Yeah, lasted 20 minutes. Yeah. Alan Cummings would make a good Sherlock Holmes. You're right. If we could pick where we'd like to haunt, I'd choose a theatre. I'd choose a theatre too. Because you also know they're probably not going to be pulled down and turned into houses. I mean, they might be turned into a pub at some point. Tim Weatherspoon might buy them up in the UK and turn them into a pub. But you know they're going to pretty much stay intact as where they are. So, yeah. And they're quite warm as well. Lots of really good energy. Oh, I see. We're talking Doctor Who's now. I'm with you now. I'm just coming on that chat there. Yeah. Hi, Early Ritual. Great to see you here. Welcome, welcome. Like the look of that one. Oh, the book, Sandra. Yeah, I will let you know. I've got great hopes for this one, and I'd be interested to see, you know, about getting the rest of the series if that one works. 10, your Doctor Who's. Oh, okay. I'd have to think about that one because I grew up with Tom Baker, so it has to be Tom Baker. Peter Davidson. We could have this conversation all night. But I also like David Tennant, so there you go. Yeah. There we go, 4. Number 4 was my fave. Good old Tom Baker. He's the one that I think that's the one, isn't it? The one that you grew up with is the one that you tend to remember and stick to there. So yeah. Well, I'm just going to have a slurp of tea. Never forget your fur. That's why I've got a thing about scarves. I love really long scarves. And I think it comes from Doctor Who, growing up with Doctor Who. I'm realizing how practical a long scarf is because you can keep warm. You can use it as a rope to escape some chalk pit when the Daleks are chasing you, I suppose. Sip, sip. Oh, Sandra, you love Tom Baker. You cried when he turned into Peter. Well, that was a really sad story. He fell off a telescope, so it was very traumatic there. So, yeah. We ought to make a video about Doctor Who and what people's favourites are, or do a vote or something. It'd be really interesting, wouldn't it, to see what people's favourites are. Okay. Oh, I know what Doctor Who is, but we don't have Doctor Who over there. That is sad. That is very sad. But But there's other things to watch and enjoy, isn't there? Absolutely. So, Okay, the final book that I got, and this was something that popped up on my Longman Tarot Facebook feed, and I don't often tend to go for feeds because I know the algorithm's absolutely there to get you hooked in to spend money. But I do think I'm going to put this one on my wish list and see if anyone gets it. And it's a series of books called The Untruth Seekers that have written stories based on the folklores of the different counties of England. And I suppose Scotland as well. I haven't looked too far into it, whether it's Scotland, Wales, and Ireland as well. But this is the Sussex one. It's called Sussex Roots. It's a collection of traditional stories. And I can't work out how these are written. And they are written as literature, like a story. But when you research it, there is evidence to say that all of these stories were true. Let me explain. So each one of them covers a folklore or a monster or something unusual from the area that you live in this case, Sussex. So I've only read the first two ones. The first one is about a boggart, and this story is set in First World War in Brighton. Anne, you'd be interested in that one. And it's set as a man returning back to his family from the First World War. Obviously has a lot of shell shock and has difficulty fitting back in. And then lots of strange things happen in the household. And it turns out that there's a boggart, and they actually see this boggart creature actually taking their newborn baby off down the streets of Brighton. And the way it's written, it does just make it sound like it's just fiction. And yet when you go back and then look on the internet, these stories are actually based on facts. So it's really interesting. So the first one's the boggart, as I just said. The one I read today is set in the 80s, and it's about a thing called the Knucker, which is a water dragon, a malicious water dragon that lived in a village not far away from me, that apparently goes around attacking people. When I went and Googled Knucker and the village where it came from, the pond's there and the traditions are there. There's signposts to it. The local village school has got a water dragon as its insignia. So, these are all true. But the kind of stories, I don't know whether the stories that are in this book are real or based on anything apart from just fiction based on the old stories. That makes sense. I hope that makes a little bit of sense. But this is a really interesting read, and again, it's got a really lovely rubbery cover. So there's things about fairies. I'm hoping there's going to be something about the Long Man of Wilmington in here. Obviously, the title is called The Witch, so we're going to be dealing with witches. Green Man. There's a place called Chantonbury Ring, which is not too far from. It's about an hour's drive from me. There's also a place called Devil's Dyke, which is just a little bit up country, and it has a story that it's a large scooping out of land. It may be from the Ice Age, it might be from glaciers. I don't know, but it's this really strange kind of area that's been scooped out of the South Downs, and it's always called Devil's Dyke, and it's got stories that the devil built it because he wanted to flood the churches of East Sussex and stuff like that. So I really like how these folk tales are being told and retold, and actually, as much as these fictitious stories that they've added on add a new layer that may not be exactly true, it's about carrying on the tradition. And I'm just finding out an awful lot of stuff about the local area through these books. And if you've got £10 that you want to spend, and you live in the UK, just look up these books, because I'm sure there's going to be one written about the county you live in. And I just think they're really interesting and really short chapters to read, and just really short stories. So I recommend that one there. So let's have a little look. Just catching up. Oh, Doctor Who. So I think you need to buy Fountainhead to console yourself. That's interesting. I think Becca was talking about a local book for her. It might have been the same one. Yeah, absolutely. I don't think we have any in California. Goes to Santa Barbara. Yeah, so cool. It's like Harry Potter. Yeah, it is a bit like a Fantastic Beasts book there. Yeah. I agree with Simon fountain pen. I've got my fountain pen. I've been using it all year. It's absolutely lovely. Yeah. All sounds fascinating. Living in West Sussex, little village there, must be something of interesting. You live very near Chanctonbury Ring. Oh, dear. I walked past Chanctonbury Ring on the I did the South Downs Way. You know what I'm talking about there. There it is. There's the bit on Chanctonbury Ring. Yes, have a little look out for it. That's Sussex Roots, as I said, they're from the confidential files of the Untruth Seekers collection of traditional stories. So, yeah. They only have Sussex and Hastings in those books on Amazon. Oh, really? Oh, didn't know that one there. Ghosts open up so many possibilities of space and time reality. Fascinating to contemplate. I could spend hours talking about ghosts. Yeah. Yeah. Lynn says, my husband recently had a job offer on the airbase in Sussex. I so wanted to move there. Oh, there we go. We just purchased from Amazon. I hope you enjoy it, Anne. Absolutely. Hope you like that one there. Yeah. Oh, Lynn, that's. I wonder about the airbase in Sussex. I'm trying to think what that one might be. There's quite a few around here, so it's got a lot of history. It's got a lot of folklore. Sussex people are very full of their folklore, as indeed a lot of people are. But there's some very wonderful, strange stories that the old Sussex people, which are now a dying breed because the old Sussex dialect is now more or less gone altogether. But you still find, people whose grandmothers and grandfathers remember days of old and tell you some fascinating stories, particularly about the Fae folk around here and stuff like that on there. So, yeah. Hi, Regina. Happy New Year to you and to everyone else. It's very lovely to see you here. So, we're talking about cleaning fountain pens. I didn't realize you had to clean a fountain pen. I just put a new cartridge in mine. Perhaps it is the Shoreham. Yeah. Oh, yeah. It could have been that one there. Lovely to see everyone. If I've missed you coming in, do apologise. Oh, drying the pens out there. Yeah. Okay, right, they're on it. Everyone's doing their pen. That's good. Have a nice clean pen for the new year. Okay, one tarot deck, and then we'll get on to the card of the year. Now, I have decided, and I know a lot of people say this time of year, that I'm not making any purchases in 2023. Actually, my purchasing of decks has completely slowed down in the last 3 or 4 months. There has been nothing that has buttered my muffin when it came to tarot decks, old and new, coming out there. And I actually just feel like there's been a slowdown in me of not really wanting to purchase so many, not finding stuff that I really, really wanted. Which is good in many ways because I don't want to just have some decks that just sit on the shelf and then I don't use. I do like to try and rotate my decks and use them at certain points in the year. But one deck did come along that I saw, and I can't remember whose channel I saw this one on, and it went on my Amazon wishlist. My husband bought it for me. And it's quite an unusual deck because it's not one that I would normally have gone for, but it is the Mystical Realm Tarot by Lisa Porter. And I say it's not the one that I would normally do because it is incredibly colourful. It looks like it's kind of been coloured in. It's got that kind of someone's coloured in, beautifully coloured in. I'm going to say it's almost got like a colouring book feel to it all. And the first card that I saw in it was the Fool card. I'm going to show you that before we go on to it all. And it was something about this image that really called to me. And I don't know why, because that artwork is not normally something that I would go through. It's quite busy. It's a bit strange. It's very colourful. Let's be honest. That's not normally my palette and my choice there. But the more I watched this video, this walkthrough, the more I just fell in love with this deck. And I have to say, since I've got it, I've got it out every day and had a look at it. I haven't shuffled it because I wanted to do a walkthrough of it. This is a lovely book it comes with. Nice coloured book, quite thick. It's however many pages. I'm not here to sell it, but 184. There's a picture of the creator there. Just a really nice book. And what this deck is, and I've kind of put my finger on it yesterday, why I like it. It pulls together a lot of the ideas from a lot of the other decks that I have. Try and explain this one. So the borders remind me, and the titles remind me a little bit of the Zombie Tarot with the black borders. And let's go back and look at it with the coloured bits at the top and the big black borders. It's got that feel to it. The artwork is RWS based. Some of it is very much like somebody's traced over the RWS and just put a different background on it, but some of it's very unusual. I'll probably just flick through some of the cards so you can see them. Actually, it's really well produced. It's got a delightful custard yellow border. The backs, I think, are really nice. They really remind me of some of the Polish decks I've got and some of the kind of perhaps Russian or Slavic style. Cardstock's good. Normal, I think it's probably just a little, I don't know, I haven't measured it, probably about the same size as your normal RWS. Yeah, so there's something about this deck that I just instantly fell in love with. And as I said, it's not the usual thing. The colours are very bright. It's quite hard to possibly make out what's going on. But this deck really talks to me, and it pulls together, like I said, a lot of the decks that I've seen all in one. So it reminded me of the colours of the Divine Diversity without all the six packs and stuff going on there. It reminded me, as I said, of a lot of the Polish and Russian decks that I've got. There is nudity, but probably no more than you would get off a normal RWS. It's got a hint of the Mythic Tarot, you know, the second edition about it as well. And I just thought, this is really unusual. I haven't used it yet, so I'm not sure how it reads. I like the fact this Justice card is a more mature lady, which I've never really thought about the age of the characters in the Justice card in the normal RWS. But yeah, this is somebody who, she's got a hint of Winifred from Hocus Pocus, let's be honest. That's just another reason. And some people find those colours really jarring, but I normally would on a normal day, but there's just, again, something I quite like, the child. Perhaps it's a bit like the storybookness to it all. I don't know. It's difficult to put a finger on it. The colours as well, right, with the borders, I don't find off-putting. Normally that would be something that would really put me off. That's I was talking about Divine Diversity, the kind of colours that are in that one there. This reminds me of Dark Mansion Moon. There's also a little hint of Deviant Moon about this deck as well, with some of the characters that you're going to come up against in a minute. So yeah, it was just a nice surprise to open up a deck and thought, oh, that's got me interested and got me looking through the deck. And so I've been looking through it every day. So there must be something that's calling me to this. Love the yellow edges. Yeah, I love the orange and the yellow. Yeah, the colours are some of the. I mean, the drawing is quite. I might use the word naive. I think that's the wrong term. Quite childlike. And as you can see, for me, it feels like it has been a colouring book that somebody's coloured in beautifully. I think I like the earthiness of the Pentacle suit. I think, and actually the other elements come across really well. There's an awful lot of foliage, a lot of browns, a lot of earth tones in this. I actually like the Ten of Pentacles card. It doesn't have that quite, I call it the EastEnders family and the Ten of Pentacles. There was like they're about to have a row, or there's about to be a grand finale, dum 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 moment there. But this one, everyone seems to be getting on quite nicely amongst the beautiful garden there. The court cards, again, something that often would sway me, but I don't mind. Don't mind them. We'll quickly flick through some more of them. So I've done all the pentacles. Let's do some of the cups. I probably won't do all of them. So you can see it's got elements from RWS. I like the fact that there's a man in the celebration for the Three of Cups as well. It's got that Slavic feel to it as well, I think. I actually think that these characters speak to me a little bit more than perhaps the RWS versions do. They feel like they've got a bit more of a backstory that's going on there. This Eight of Cups I particularly like because, I don't know if you can see, these cups, although they've stood them up, they're actually really battered and cracked rather than being pristine and look a bit unused. These ones look like they've been used, abused, thrown at, got a story to tell, and yet they're still being lined up and before you walk away from them. Back-to-back tarot tube tonight. We're going out with a bang for the new year. Everyone's having trouble with typing. Just having a little people. Yeah, everyone's loving the yellow edges. Yeah, yeah, they are super. I'm not sure how much the deck is. As I said, Peter bought it for me, but I don't think it was hugely, wildly expensive. So we're getting into the hot aridness of the wand suit. You couldn't take the borders off. You'd have to, I think, probably live with that. It would really mess up the backs if you did. But I don't mind the black borders. I think it'd be quite a nice deck for doing readings for young people with, or perhaps like a first deck or something. I like this Six of Wands. I like the fact the person's standing on the horse, raised up even further. Your victory. And the cardstock, like I said, is pretty good. I quite like as well where they kind of skewed the angle that the scene is normally taken on, like this one here. You're actually looking at the person from the side. You can see how much anguish they're under there. And I really like this Page of Wands. I really like this way he's kind of leaning up. He's a bit cocksure of himself, this Page of Wands. He knows what he wants. This Queen of Wands, she's certainly showing a bit of leg there. Again, she's asking to be center of attention. She's she's demanding that people sort of pay attention to her that way. And the king as well looks very, very much like, yeah, as a suit, as a family, I always find the wands are the ones that they like the adoration, they like to be looked at as well as actually being helpful. Let's finish off the sword, shall we, here, while we're here. This has also got my favourite Three of Swords card, because this one, you can see we've actually got a proper heart. We've got the veins and the arteries going in. It's being stabbed, it's raining, but it's also been patched up, this heart. It's had plasters and it's got bandages wrapped around it. So this heartache that's going on, this sadness, is something that people have tried to mend, tried to work with in the past. They haven't given up on it. They keep going, but there comes a point when, enough's enough. You can only put so many sticking plasters on a situation before it's time to call it a day. So I really like that tone there. And also the Four of Swords, this is somebody asleep, but they've got the sword in their hand. They are still resting, but not fully asleep. Five of Swords is a bit strange. It's kind of slightly weird looking Victorian kind of artful dodger kind of character here. He looks more like a trickster. I'd say that was more Seven of Swords myself, but just not take. Six of Swords with a rough sea there. And Seven of Swords is just, again, quite a similar pose to the original. And interesting, we've got a man inside the Eight of Swords prison now. I like the shape of those swords as well. This Nine of Swords is very busy. No wonder this poor person's having sleepless nights. If I had that wall and that duvet cover to sleep under, I'd probably be awake most of the night. Very busy. It's not very relaxing. Nearly there. He's got a fairy book, fairy tale, fairy story book. That's what I'm trying to say. Feel to it all. He looks a bit of a Lothario there as well. Great word, Lothario. I'm going to try and use that a lot. 2020. Yeah, so that is the Mystical Realm Tarot. That was the only deck that I got. Let's have a look at those lovely yellow edges. They really are buttercup yellow. Yeah, it's got a real feel of like a childish deck when you actually look at it. In the way it is as well, almost feels like a card game or like a top trumps kind of game as well. There, so that's that. Comes in a nice yellow box too. Are you on the mead, Simon? Do you know what, Simon? I bought a bottle of mead to have on Yule, and I completely forgot about it, and it's still sitting there. Perhaps I'll have to crack it open after this. I wish. Are you not on it, Simon? Just having a look at it. I'm a ditz. I'm actually in Suffolk. Mildenhall. Very nice. Bye, Lynn. Anyway, some things go into the borders on the card, so you can. Yeah, absolutely. Never thought about that one. Yeah, it's a lovely one. Yeah. Anne asked, does anyone else in the UK spend last night trying to pinpoint the 7 planets all visible in the night sky? By the time I found out about it, Anne, half of the stars or half of the planets had disappeared under the horizon. So I thought, I'm only going to see about 3 or 4 of them. So I didn't bother, which is a really bad one. Yeah, no, you got too much light pollution. Yeah. Hi, Beth. I have to watch it back. Hi to you. Hi. It's not very calming for sleep. Beth says, I love this deck. Such interesting art. Have you actually got it, or was it just from the look through there? So be interested to know if anyone else has got it and what they think about it. It's got a hint of the Robin Wood about it as well. Like I said, it's got elements of so many decks. I look at it and go, that reminds me of this, and that reminds me of that, and that reminds me of that artwork. And I like that. And so again, it's a reason not to have to buy lots of decks, because I've got one that reminds me of it. So I'm going to be really workshopping the decks that I use in January. I feel like I need to have some bright, colourful decks in January, working it through there. Are you on your second bottle of Baileys? Thanks, Jen. What's mead? I hope someone's asked that. It's wine made with honey, I think. That's probably the best way of doing it. Mead, yeah. So it's really, really sweet. It's very nice, though. It is like honeyed wine. It's quite strong as well. I do have this at watching flip through, but Ben's done it. I have to catch. It might have been Ben actually that I saw it on. I don't know. I can't remember. My tea's got cold, so I'm just going to finish that one off. How can I've done an hour and 10 minutes? How can that have happened? Right. Card of the year. Right, actually, I can get this one out. So, card of the year, I do normally do card of the year. I've done it for the last 2 or 3 years, and I pull it, and I kind of, it's always in the back of my mind. I never really give it much of a thought during the year. And I suppose that is my own fault, because the last few years they've been cards that I've been a bit like, oh, okay, that's okay, that's pleasant, that's nice. Nothing much to worry about. No, fine, we'll live with that one. I'm not going to tell you what the card was for this year, because then you'd be able to work out what's coming. So I work the card of the year out. I take the digits of my birthday, add them together, keep combining them until you get a number that fits in with the major arcana. So I did 12, 5, 20, 23. So this year, it's a devil year. And this is the one that's made me sit up and start to take notice, because last year was a temperance year. And in many ways, I do think I did have that element in there. But I didn't start 2022 going, oh, it's a temperance year, wonderful. You know, everything's going to be nice and balanced and calm and everything like that. Because actually, in many ways, it was balanced, but it wasn't calm in certain areas of it. So when I drew this, and I thought, oh, and that's why I'm doing this as a live with you now, because I'd really like some feedback on what you think the devil year might be. So I'm going to shut up for a moment, which is quite hard for me to do, while I let you guys write into the chat if you had the devil card, or indeed if you have got the devil card for your card of the year this year. What would you be expecting to come out of it, and what would you be taking from this to interpret, work with, learn from, etc., etc., etc.? So this is the devil card from the Mystical Realm Tarot that I've just shown you there. Interesting colors. We've got pink and yellow. Let's just show you here. We've got our devil here. Again, this has got elements of the Robin Wood, because we have our two people chained up to a box, and that's what's happening in the Robin Wood. They're actually trying to steal the box, and they're running out of the tunnel, if you remember what that image looks like, but they're being chased by something hideous. So you don't actually see the devil, you just kind of get the sense of it there. So that the other thing I like about this devil card is his pose. It's a real, rocker, kind of rock on kind of pose here that's going on with this one there. So he does feel a bit of a cheeky chap, this devil. Quite scary, but very much full of his own power. So there we go. I'm going to take a sip of tea, and I'm going to let you have a dwell, and just type, if you can, what you think a devil year may be, or perhaps you had a devil year last year and how that worked out for you, or what advice would you give somebody that has the devil card for 2023? Let's have a look. Yeah, fermented alcohol made from honey and water, maybe wild yeast. I think probably in Outlanders, they probably are drinking mead. I think that was. So Jen's got star. Yeah, that's nice. I'm also thinking what's coming next year. It's going to be the tower, isn't it? So I'm thinking, okay. Okay, so hello, Jane. Good to see you here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Releasing all limiting thoughts that don't serve you. I'm going to go back and watch this bit of the video and write down into my journal all of this because I'm loving this. I'm just liking the comments of people. So I really like that. Releasing all limiting thoughts that don't serve you. Wonderful. Claire Telford. Hi, Claire. Have a fiendishly fabulous year. Yeah. Beth says, I do not have the devil card, but if I did, I would look at the obstacles I create for myself and consciously try to find their root and work it through. Brilliant advice. Fun, fun, fun. Lose any inhibitions and go grab the devil by his odds. That's what worries me a little bit. I don't need to be told things like that. Deep inside, I know that, but I'm with you on that one. Jen says, devil year, busting through your own crap that holds you back and get it your way. I think that's supposed to mean, yeah, get it your way there. V Kestrel, I'm with Anne. Bad girls, boys, have more fun. You guys want me to go out and get up to things, don't you? I can see that one there. Sandra says mine is Moon next year. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, that's the kind of what you were talking about was really it's what I was thinking. And I kind of, when I first saw the devil card, and I'm really thankful for you for putting those comments in because that has made me go back and rethink it. I instantly went down the path of, oh God, I'm going to relapse into those habits and those pathways that I've spent all of this year trying so desperately to create. And I just didn't want you're going to take 15 step backward kind of, and go back to the old Richie ways, which, were fun and amusing and wonderful and a lot of things. But I have spent a bit of time getting away from that. So what I didn't want to do is then be given the key to go back and do it all again, if that makes sense. So that's what my major concern was with pulling the devil card. But at the same time, having the forewarning or having known that is going to be a presence throughout the year does mean that I have to be very careful on the choices that I make about going out, having that fun, about going out, doing those things, going out, being the bad boy, whatever you want to call it or how you want to put it. Because I know, particularly with my kind of personality, where things like that can lead to. That sounded a bit cloak and dagger. It's not as deep as it is. But I feel like this year I've made such progress in many ways. I didn't want to then be given a free ticket to go back to square one again, which is how I feel I may be progressing in the last few days. I have found myself thinking about, the old days and what it would be like to go back and do that. Of course, I'm not going to be doing that, hopefully, but it's interesting that turned up and this turned up at the same time. So, yeah. Oh, Debbie, you got a tower year coming up for me. I didn't say anything about having fun. I'm a Virgo. I suggested work. I like that one there. Well, let's go back and talk about Debbie's tower year. It's changes that have to happen, isn't it? That's the one way of thinking about the tower card. Those changes have to happen, and there are ways of making the changes and adapting to those changes, and there's a way of just going, okay, let's pick the pieces up and start again. So yeah, I hope that helps. Other feeling my card may be devil next year too. Two devils together, that's absolutely fine. We can go and be devils together. Maybe you can stay away from bad habits but learn to stress about them less. I like that. Don't be a slave to your fear of raising hell. Wonderfully put, Nancy. Thank you. Yeah. Maybe it's about not judging yourself past and present. Perhaps. Yeah, absolutely. It's amazing, isn't it, when your mind goes into a space and then you get something like that come along that it starts to click away. It's almost like a piece of clockwork unwinding, and all these different choices, all these different thoughts, and that's why it's brilliant to ask all of you what you think about this one there, because that would be Really interesting to have that input there. Oh, hello, Candy. We're on for a little bit longer, but it's lovely to see you. Really great to see you. I hope you had a wonderful Christmas, and we're just talking about card of the year. I hope you're well. Jane's got the Hanged One, the Empress makes sense. It takes 9 months to make a baby. Fabulous. My card this year is the Hierophant. Because of that, I chose the word study as my word of the year. I'll see what this year has in store. Fabulous. I'm loving how people are being all, yeah. I've been on since 7:30, Candy, but don't worry, we're all busy. We can go back and watch it if you want to. Another point, but it's lovely that you're here. Maharet's also got the Hangman year too. Interesting times. Might be nice to, think about what the interpretation of the Hangman is. Oh, bless you. Lovely to see you here. Nancy says, I believe I'm the will, given the past 3 years of change could only be for the better. Right? Absolutely. Would you like the devil to lead you, or are you going to lead the devil? Claire, that's brilliant. I absolutely think that's a fantastic statement there. Yeah. I think we're all very ready when we see this card. Well, I'm particularly ready to go, oh gosh, yes, I'm going to be tempted and be led. But actually, I have to make sure that perhaps I am not the devil leading people. Or perhaps I do. I'm just very conscious of this card for this year. And it will be in the back of my mind when it comes to perhaps some choices, I think. That's a good thing. You can watch it back. Absolutely. Guess my word of the year should be repealed. Yeah. That's a great word to have anyway, regardless of whether they got the tower or not. Seeing things from a different perspective is one. Yeah, I love that. It's really, really good. As I said, I'm going to go back and write all that down then. Beth, I was settling into my new home all last year, Jane the Seeker. Because of that, my energy was all over the place. Now you can settle. That's wonderful. Fascinating. So, I think we are done. So the devil card, I'm going to be sitting and working with that one. Like I said, there's a chapter in the journal. I mean, this is where we started off, Candy, talking about my beautiful journaling skills that I'm trying to get working. But I have now got a space. Where's it gone? For the card of the year. So I'm going to go back and watch and look at your lovely comments. And I'll be writing up some thoughts of that one and over the next few days. But yeah, so that is me. I am back tomorrow with Elaine, with Sarah and Orshi and Gerald, and we're just talking about 2023. We have all put together, I believe, a spread for 2023 that people can use. It's already up on Tried Spread Revisited page on Facebook. If you're interested in having a look at those, we will be pointing you in the place of where those are. But that's at 5 o'clock GMT tomorrow over on Elaine's channel. There is a link further up in the chat all she put in there. So if you're interested, yeah, that's where it's going to be. Beth says, what does the devil card mean for you? Like I said at the beginning, I thought it was going to be, I'm going to go back to the regress back. Let's use the word regress back to perhaps 2021. I feel like I've grown an awful lot this year. I feel like I've achieved an awful lot this year. I feel like it's a new layer that I've peeled off and shedded, and I've made some really important decisions. I've made some really important changes. I've done a lot of creative stuff, and I wanted to continue that on. What I didn't need is the devil card to pop up to go, oh no, you're going to go back to your slovenly ways before. But I'm aware of that now, and I think that's really important to make sure that I keep going forward. Perhaps it is to have a little bit more fun. Perhaps it is to be a little bit more carefree, but at the same time, making sure that that is not to the detriment of what's been built on this year. because the year after next it's the Tower year, so it all comes crashing down and we have a chance to rebuild it all again then. So there we go. You're very welcome. A wonderful way to end it. Yes, you are now in New Year's Eve. You're hours away from the big 2023. Sending a big love back to you, Jen, and I hope that we can catch up in 2023 and spend some more time together. You might want to memorize phone numbers for your one phone call. Yeah. Hopefully it will never be as bad as that one there. It's great, everyone. Thank you for spending time with me. Really enjoyed this evening chatting to everyone. You're very welcome. Very welcome. I'm going to wish you all a wonderful new year. Looking forward to seeing you in your friend Smart Elaine's channel. That's brilliant, Anne. It's lovely. It'd be lovely to spend some time with everyone and sort of start the New Year's celebrations off there. Keep the momentum, baby. Calla says, I'm having a hermit year in 2023. Sounds about right. Yeah. Well, make the most of it. Your peace and quiet, you know. Some people crave that, don't they? And some people just got to get out there and rock on, apparently. That's what I've got to do, like that. So there we go. Absolutely. Well, Happy New Year to everyone here. And thank you for everyone who has been with me on this journey through the year, not only on the channel, but if we've met up or we've made videos together with content, we've chatted. I really appreciate it because I really feel this year it's been a fantastic year in many ways. And I've also needed your help on many of the occasions to do with health issues and other bits and pieces. So I'm really pleased to be sitting here now and being able to be reflective on the year and go, yeah, it's been a good year, all in. At the end of it, we've all learned something. I've learned something and definitely grown. So that has been a wonderful journey and one that I've really enjoyed taking with all of you here. So thank you if you've been part of any of the lives. Thank you for anything you've added to the channel. Thank you for keep watching and supporting. It's been brilliant. And I'm really looking forward to carrying on in 2023, everyone. So have a fantastic 2023 and a great new year. Be safe. And I'll see you soon. Bye then.